With our legal panel for a moment, Josh Ritter, Misty Maris. Josh, you first. Your thoughts on all of this and the significance of a big name like Jay-Z being added to this lawsuit?
I think it's huge. I mean, bear in mind, R. Kelly started out with a civil lawsuit. The prosecution of P. Diddy started out with a civil lawsuit. Just because this is a civil lawsuit does not mean that this thing will not turn into a criminal investigation. And the allegations being made here are about as serious as they can get. It's involving a minor, 13 years old, perhaps the use of alcohol or drugs, and force. This is something that could land someone in prison for decades. It's very, very serious.
And the response to Misty was not lawyerly at all by Jay-Z. I mean, this was an aggressive response. I'm not reading into that as someone who's, guilty or innocent. I'm just saying that we only read part of it, but he really came after the lawyer from Busby that was involved and everything else. What do you make of all this?
Well, I'm not surprised to see Jay-Z come out and proclaim his innocence and write that response. Remember, this started off as a demand letter that went to Jay-Z before his name was identified publicly. In fact, Connell, we had reported on a John Doe motion that was filed by an anonymous celebrity against Tony Busby, saying that they were being extorted. That turns out it's Jay-Z, and it relates to this lawsuit. So not surprised to see a statement come out very quickly, and not surprised to see the motion to dismiss. That being said, these cases do not get dismissed at the outset. They generally have to work their way through the court of law. So there could certainly be more to this case. This is civil, but there could absolutely be an ancillary criminal investigation that could be open based on these allegations.
Right, and we know where Diddy, how much trouble he's already in. I guess the thing about that, people look at this, Josh, and they say, how many other big names are going to be ensnared, or whatever word you want to use in the whole Diddy thing, right? I mean, how many names are going to come up? We were asking that beforehand, and now we have one here in Jay-Z, and you wonder if there's kind of more to come.
I don't think it's the end of it. I really don't. I think that there's been a grand jury that's been convened since the time of P. Diddy's arrest. I think more people are coming forward. I think people are feeling emboldened. They've seen that P. Diddy has been prosecuted, and they're thinking, now's the time for me to come forward. I would not be surprised if this is just the tip of the iceberg.
And that's how it starts, right, Misty? The civil lawsuits, to Josh's earlier point, and then it kind of goes from there. And would you agree more to come here is how it looks, at least?
Definitely. Well, based on just the indictment that's at play right now, whether or not there's a superseding indictment, it looks like there might be based on the grand jury convening. But by the very nature of the charges against Diddy, it's a conspiracy. It's a RICO charge. So that means others are involved just by virtue of the definition of that statute. So, Connell, to that point, though, it could be involved in criminal activity. It could be tangentially involved. It could be witnesses. But certainly we know that during this time frame, P. Diddy was very well connected. And so I would expect to see more people's names come up. In what capacity, we don't know yet.
I wonder, Josh, too, as a quick final thought, if Jay-Z's thinking about, or will there'll be some counteraction on his, just from the statement and how aggressive it was. What do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. They came out swinging. I don't know if that's really going to score them any points in a court of law. Perhaps in a court of public opinion is where they're trying to score points at this point. But even then, all the people are going to remember is P. Diddy, Jay-Z, and a 13-year-old.
No, I know it's some story, and we'll follow this wherever it goes as well. Thanks for all the time today, Josh. Misty, as always, as well. A lot